For the feast of Peter and Paul, I'd like to read the vision of Jesus asking the apostles, who do they say he is? And Peter's confession of faith which follows. So it is from volume 3 of the English edition of the Poem of the Man God from 1986, and it's chapter 342, going towards Caesarea Philippi, Peter's primacy. Jesus speaks. But the people you approach in a simple, friendly way, more than I do, without making them feel uneasy as I may do, who do they say that I am? And who do they say the Son of Man is? Some say that you are Jesus, that is the Christ, and they are the best. Some say that you are a prophet, some only a rabbi. Others, and you know, say that you are mad and possessed. But some call you by the same name that you use, and they say, Son of Man. And some say that that is not possible, because the Son of Man is a different thing. But that is not always a denial, because in actual fact, they acknowledge that you are more than the Son of Man. You are the Son of God. Others instead say that you are not even the Son of Man, but a poor man agitated by Satan, or deranged by madness. You can thus see that there are many different opinions, says Bartholomew. What is the Son of Man, therefore, according to the people? He is a man in whom there are all the most beautiful virtues of men, a man gifted with all the requisites of intelligence, wisdom, grace, which we think were in Adam, to which some add the gift of not having to die. You know that there is already a rumour that John the Baptist is not dead. They say that he was only carried elsewhere by angels, and that Herod, and above all Herodias, to prevent people from saying that they had been defeated by God, killed a servant, had him beheaded, and then showed his mutilated body, saying it was the corpse of the Baptist. People say so many things. So many things that the Son of Man is either Jeremiah, or Elijah, or one of the prophets, or the Baptist, who was gifted with grace and wisdom, and said that he was the precursor of the Christ. Christ, the anointed of God. The Son of Man, a great man, born of man. Some cannot admit, or do not want to admit, that God has sent his Son to the earth. You said so yesterday. Only those will believe who are convinced of the infinite goodness of God. Israel believes more in God's severity than in his goodness, says Bartholomew again. Yes, they feel so undeserving that they consider it impossible that God has been so good as to send his word to save them. The degraded state of their souls is a hindrance to their believing that, confirms the zealot. And he adds, you say that you are the Son of God and of man. In fact, in you, there is all grace and wisdom as man. And I really think that he who was born of Adam in the state of grace would have been like you in beauty and intelligence and all virtues. The power of God shines in you. But who can believe that among those who consider themselves gods and judge God by their standards in their infinite pride? Cruel, hateful, greedy, impure as they are, they cannot possibly think that God has gone to such an extreme of kindness as to give himself to redeem them, his love to save them, his generosity to be at their mercy, his purity to sacrifice his life among men. Since they are so inflexible and captious in looking for faults and punishing them, they cannot believe that. And Jesus says, and who do you say that I am? Tell me your own personal opinion, without taking into account my words or the words of other people. If you were compelled to judge me, who would you say that I am? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God, exclaims Peter, kneeling down with his arms stretched upwards towards Jesus, who looks at him with his face bright with love, and who bends to raise and embrace him, saying, "Simon, son of Jonah, you are a happy man, because it was not the flesh and blood that revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. Since the first day you came with me, you have been asking yourself that question, and because you are simple and honest, you have been able to understand and accept the reply that came to you from heaven. You did not see supernatural manifestations, as your brother and John and James did. You did not know my holiness as son, workman, citizen, as my brothers Judas and James did. You did not receive any miracle, neither did you see me work any. I showed no sign of power to you, as I did with Philip, Nathanael, Simon Cananean, Thomas and Judas who saw them. You were not subdued by my will, as Levi the publican was, and yet you exclaimed, 'He is the Christ.' You believed since the first moment you saw me, and your faith was never shaken. That is why I called you Cephas, and that is why on you, Peter, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth shall be also bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on the earth shall be loosed also in heaven, O prudent, faithful man, whose heart I have been able to test. And now, from this moment, you are the head, to whom obedience and respect are due, as to another myself. And I proclaim him such before all of you." If Jesus had crushed Peter under a hailstorm of reproaches, Peter would not have wept so copiously. He is weeping and is shaken by sobs with his face on Jesus' chest. His weeping can be compared only to the tears he will shed in his grief for denying Jesus. He now weeps for many good, humble feelings. A little of the old Simon, the fisherman of Bethsaida, who had laughed incredulously and facetiously at his brother's first announcement, saying, "Of course the Messiah would appear just to you." A good little of the old Simon crumbles under those tears, and from his vanishing, frail human nature, Peter appears more and more clearly the pontiff of the Church of Christ. When he raises his shy, embarrassed face, he can make only one gesture: to say everything, to promise everything, to strengthen himself completely for his new ministry. He throws his arms round Jesus' neck, compelling him to bend and kiss him, mingling his somewhat bristly grizzled hair and beard with the soft golden hair and beard of Jesus. And he looks at Jesus with his large, loving, imploring and adoring eyes, still shining and red with tears, holding the Master's ascetic face, bent over his own, in his rough, large, stumpy hands, as if it were a vase from which a vital liquid flowed. And he drinks kindness, grace, confidence and strength from Jesus' face, eyes and smile. They separate at last and resume their journey towards Caesarea Philippi. And Jesus says to everybody, "Peter has spoken the truth. Many guess it, you are aware of it. But for the time being, do not say to anybody who the Christ is in the full truth known to you. Let God speak to the hearts of people as he speaks to yours. I solemnly tell you that those who add perfect faith and perfect love to my statements or yours will learn the true meaning of the words, Jesus, the Christ, the Word, the Son of Man, and of God.